It was the morning of November the 9th, 1979 at 10:30 a.m. Robert David Taylor, otherwise known as Bob Taylor, was a well-respected forestry worker who was known for his honesty and his integrity. He was 61 years old at the time of the alleged incident. Bob was out walking his dog, an Irish setter called Lara, just below Dechmont Law, when he encountered a large, circular, dark metallic grey object which appeared several yards in front of Bob. He approached the object cautiously before two small spherical devices, resembling naval mines, dropped to the ground from within the alien craft. The devices hooked up each of Bob's legs, dragging him towards the unidentified flying object, or UFO. Bob caught wind of a terrible smell, causing him to retch, and he heard what seemed like a hissing sound coming from the craft. Bob awoke about 20 minutes later to find his dog barking, but the UFO was gone. Bob tried to start his lorry, but with no success, so he walked a mile back to his home. Bob's wife Mary was shocked at the state that she found her husband in when he arrived back home. She phoned his boss to report the unusual incident. Forestry workers investigated Dechmont Law soon thereafter, but found nothing. Local police were joined by Bob as they investigated the crime scene and found some physical evidence to corroborate part of Bob's story in terms of impressions on the ground and indentations where Bob claimed he had been dragged towards the alien craft. The police took Bob's story seriously and conducted a criminal investigation, which is still open to this very day. The incident received nationwide publicity as a result and is now one of the most famous cases in ufology anywhere. Bob went to hospital almost immediately following his UFO encounter, but he grew so bored being kept in the waiting room that he simply got up and walked out and went home. Bob's symptoms on the day, such as breathlessness, smelling a strong odour, disorientation, headaches and dehydration, are commonplace for epileptic attacks, but when examined by a doctor shortly after the incident, Bob's vital signs were surprisingly normal. A similar incident to Bob's took place in Canada in May 1967, wherein a witness claimed to have seen a UFO or had a UFO encounter, accompanied by a strong smell of sulfur and burnt electrical wiring. In 1992, author Ron Halliday and ufologist Ken Higgins had the site of Bob Taylor's UFO encounter marked with a plaque, making it one of the first, if not the very first, officially recognised UFO experiences in the world. On the evening of the 8th of November and the morning of the 9th of November, there were many sightings of unusual activity in the skies in and around Livingston and Dechmont Loch. Mrs. E. Scott was standing at a bus stop near the Pentland Hills when she saw a round silvery object with flashing lights in the sky on the 8th of November at 8 p.m. Mrs. Josephine Quigley and 4 of her friends, so this is 5 witnesses, saw a circle of lights slowly rotate in the Livingston area at 5:50 p.m. on November the 8th. It held its position for a few minutes before disappearing. 2 hours later, the same UFO may have been seen by 2 brothers, Stephen and Alan Little, at the Bells Quarry area of Livingston. It appeared dome-shaped with an array of lights, glowing white and pulsating with blue and red lights on the sides. On the 9th of November, at 8:05 a.m, Graham Kennedy was passing Bangor Hospital when he noticed a bright light heading directly towards him on the A89 road. This is very close to Dechmont Loch. He swerved to avoid the light and almost ended up in a very serious car crash, but he described the object as orange coloured and torch-shaped. A local nurse, Anne McGregor, got off her bus and began walking alongside the A89 towards Bangor Hospital, also that morning, when she heard a distant but constant hissing sound. When she looked up, she saw a bright yellow light heading straight towards Dechmont Loch. A cyclist from Newbridge spotted a bright yellow light only a few minutes later, also heading to Dechmont Loch. And a month before Bob Taylor's incident, on October the 10th, in Dedridge, Livingston, a Mrs. Stewart was preparing to go to bed at 12:45 a.m. when she witnessed a large grey dome-shaped object with 6 red lights rotating anti-clockwise, making a noise that sounded like a muffled helicopter, as she described it, outside of her bedroom window. The object gradually disappeared into the skies above, but in the coming weeks she felt thirsty and fatigued around the same time of morning that she witnessed the UFO outside of her window. Could it be that there are aliens already living amongst us? Could they be in our midst and we just don't see it? What would you do if you saw a UFO or an alien out in the woods? How would you respond?